Brad Paisley with Alison Krauss, which is song, which actually deals with the topic that we're going to talk about this morning, and that is suicide. And more specifically, this month of September is a suicide prevention month. And Monica Reil from Lamoille County Mental Health Services with the Mobile Crisis Center is here this morning. Of course, nobody wants to talk about suicide and suicide prevention, but we were talking before we started today, the communication really is the main key to bringing these rates of suicide down.
Yes, that's true. And it is a very hard topic to talk about, but it's really important. And just getting the word out there is a good thing. I think sometimes we're afraid if we bring up the subject that we're going to encourage people to do it. But I think the opposite happens. I think when we bring up the subject, we're saying it's okay to talk about it and it's important.
Yeah, and it seems like awareness the information is starting to get out there over the last many years, but still not enough, really, because you were saying the rate in Vermont is still going upward. The rate, a number of suicides going up.
That's true, and I think the vast majority of people who attempt suicide do not die by suicide, so there's a lot of people out there who have tried. Most people who do make an attempt don't want to die. They want help, but they just don't know how to access it, or they don't know where to turn. And that's where all of us in the community can be a resource for people.
Right, and especially even if, and I guess I was the one that kind of brought that up a little bit about sometimes you feel foolish, like, what if I'm wrong, or what if I'm way off on that? It's better to be on the side of caution than it is not in this case.
Yes, and I think that even if I communicate badly, it's better than not asking at all.
Yeah.
So even asking the question, doing the best I can, just telling someone, gee, I've noticed that you're not doing well lately, how can I help? And are you thinking about hurting yourself? If you are, let me get you some help. Yeah. And there's help available.
Yeah. Other telltale signs? Are there kind of signs that you can kind of watch for if people are maybe acting, out of the ordinary or things of that nature?
I think so. People who seem to be more depressed, more isolated, not enjoying things that they usually enjoy, maybe actually taking steps that seem concerning, giving away possessions, maybe talking about guns, maybe even just talking about, I wish I wasn't here anymore, or life isn't worth living. And when in doubt, if you're not sure, you can always call and ask someone, gee, I'm concerned about this person. I don't know if they're at risk or not, but what do you think? And let someone else reach out to them and offer support.
Right. Of course, they can talk to you folks at Lamoille County Mental Health Services.
Absolutely.
Always. And you do have there's a national suicide prevention lifeline. Now, for folks who are concerned here, would it be better to try to get a hold of somebody local, or is the national suicide lifeline also sufficient? I
think they both work. I think the advantage of talking to someone local is we can act sooner. And sometimes we may already know this person and have a sense of the best way to reach out to offer support.
Right. Now, Lamoille County Mental Health has a program or a workshop or program coming up in October, which deals with suicide prevention and awareness. So talk a little bit about that coming up.
We do. There's a program called You Matter. And we are going to be offering a free training for the community the first week of October, because we couldn't quite get it on the schedule for September. So that will be Tuesday, October 2nd, from 12 noon to 4 p.m. That will be at our office at Lamoille County Mental Health on Harold Street in Morrisville. Space will be limited, so if you are interested, please contact Jamie McLean, who's on our mobile crisis team. Her email address is JamieM, that's spelled JAIMEM, @lamoille.org. And you can also call our office at 888-5026.
Okay, and you never have too much information, especially on something like this. And of course, for suicide, for those who have lost family members or friends of suicide, it's something that it stays with you, and you can never forget it. I mean, I read about some folks who have lost their children due to suicide. It's something that's with you forever.
I think that's true. And the latest estimates say that for every person who dies by suicide, there's about 100 people who feel the ripple effects of that, from immediate family, friends, coworkers, peers. A lot of people are affected in ways that we don't always expect. One of the things I did want to mention is we've been putting some articles out on Facebook and Front Page Forum. One of the things we've talked about recently is the language we use to talk about suicide. So there's really a push for us to talk about it in a little bit different way. It's been common language that we say someone has committed suicide, and there's really a push to change that and not use the word committed, because that sounds like maybe somebody committed a crime, or, for people of religious faith, it sounds like, they've committed a sin, and really that's not the case. So we prefer to say someone died by suicide, as opposed to using the word committed. It's more helpful language, and I think particularly, again, for survivors of suicide, it feels like a better word to use.
A better way to cope with it, I would think. Yeah. Well, speaking of communication, in closing this morning, you were telling me about a study or a program that they're doing is it Great Britain, concerning how men, we men, we just never open up, and we're always reluctant to say what we really think. But talk about this program in Britain that seems to be making a difference.
So they've really been making some efforts in trying to get people to talk to each other. Don't be afraid to ask your friend or your family member if they're having a hard time. And, especially if you're a man, it's okay to talk about how you're feeling, and it's okay to ask for help. And just encouraging that has actually brought down suicide rates in Great Britain. And I think that's something, it's pretty simple, and it's not complicated. It doesn't matter if you've had training or not. Any of us can ask someone we know if they're doing okay, and if we can help them to get help.
Never hurts. Never hurts to over-communicate. I don't think there's a such thing as over-communicating.
I don't think so.
I think there is. Possibly too. So if you're interested in the program that Monique was talking about, which is coming up first part of October, and the title of the program again is?
It's called You Matter.
Okay, and there's more information about it on your website, I would imagine, too.
Yes, there is, and we're going to have flyers going out and emails going out.
Right, and their website is lamoille.org.
Yes.
Okay, to find out more about what we talked about today, and just be aware, and never hurts to communicate more. If it prevents one life from being lost, then it was certainly worth it, for sure. So,
just a reminder, our team is available 24/7, so during the daytime, there's generally someone at our office, and that number is 888-5026.
Okay.
And anytime, if you can't get through at the office, 24/7, we're available by pager through Copley Hospital. And that number is all 8s. So it's 888-8888.
Easy to remember. All right, Monique Reil, from Lamoille County Mental Health Services. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. 93.9 WLVB.